Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. When will these people learn? Well, the answer to that is obviously never. Like I always say, Democrats keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. They simply have an innate inability to look within and realize that what they're doing isn't working, and to pivot. Their policies are harming the economy. It's not for them to change. No, you're the problem. You just don't know how to be happy and appreciate all that Joe Biden has done for you. You disagree with my policy proposals? Well, you must be a racist, fascist, evil deplorable. It's always the same thing, you know? It's always blaming the other side. We're not the problem. We're perfect. We were sent from God to save humanity from poverty. Honestly, that's what it feels like with these leftoids. They feel almost as if they were sent from God to save the world from anything dark. But of course, more than anything, I mean above it all, what it really is acute narcissism, and I think people are really starting to see it for what it is, as these Democrats continue to expose themselves as frankly totally condescending jerks. That's the topic of today's video. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so we're starting off with the issue of illegal migration. You know, Democrats like to have their cake and eat it too. They like to pretend as if they're all for border security, while at the same time saying stuff like this, I mean openly saying stuff like this.
Now more than ever, we're short of workers. We have a population that is not reproducing it on its own with the same level that it used to. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here.
Just grant amnesty to every person who has crossed the border illegally because of feelings, while at the same time pretending you can hold that stance while also promoting border security and border laws. You know, obviously those two things are totally mutually exclusive. They cannot coexist together. And so that creates an obvious dichotomy here. There's the left, which is open border, pro-amnesty, to pro-border crisis and continued chaos, basically, what we've seen over the last 3.5 years, and then there's the Republican Party that actually stands up for the nation and the people's interest. They're the actual side of border security and reforming the system. And that dynamic is obvious to the American voter. You know, Chuck Schumer didn't even have to say the quiet part out loud for people to get it. You see it in the polling data. Donald Trump leads on the issue of immigration in some polls by over 30 points. The voters get it, and increasingly so. The more time goes on, the more people realize that they've been hoodwinked into thinking that supporting border policies is somehow, you know, Republican racism. It's specific to Donald Trump. It's Trumpian style racism, even though, you know, a decade ago they were all basically saying the exact same thing. They realize it's all a frickin' scam. It's all a big lie told by the Democrats, and it's showing up in the polls. We covered recently how a significant majority of the American populace not only supports border security, but that the majority of American voters, especially Republicans and independents, support Donald Trump's very firm policy of mass deportations.
They cannot stay. We will immediately begin the largest criminal deportation operation in our country's history.
We covered the poll in a previous video. 56% support this policy, the rounding up and mass deportation of illegal migrants. And surprise, surprise, that includes Hispanic and Black voters. Both groups, of course, that are disproportionately negatively affected by the current migrant crisis, we know that, and now Democrats on CNN essentially have to contend with this fact. They have to deal with it head on. And here's where we get to what I was talking about in the intro. Once again, apparently you're the problem.
And then the third thing, Jim, and this is the truth, and you and I know this, as Latinos, there are some Latino immigrants who forget they came here as immigrants and who want to shut the door behind them, and who think being anti-immigrant somehow is going to make them pass as more American, pass as whatever. And that's a very stupid attitude to have.
Ana Navarro goes on CNN and claims that American Latinos who are anti-illegal immigration, quote, have a stupid attitude. You know, as per usual, it's impossible to have an adult conversation with these people. You're crazy. You're a deplorable. You have a stupid attitude. You're a bad person. You're a racist, a bigot, a this, a misogynist. It's constant slanderous labels and attacks. ad hominem attacks. She went through the whole freaking Democrat checklist. Not only are people that she disagrees with just stupid and should be condemned, but then she goes on with the typical racist, misogynist, blah, 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 blah. The same freaking thing every single time. You know, Democrats never learn. They never freaking learn. It's non-stop condescending BS. What happened just the other day? Donald Trump did a rally in the South Bronx, and the governor of New York literally came out not only to dismiss Bronx voters, but she called them, quote, clowns.
Well, I'll tell you it won't make a difference at all, Jake, and that is for Donald Trump to be the ringleader of and invite all his clowns to a place like the Bronx. New York will never, ever support Donald Trump for president. We know him better than anyone, and that means we understand what he's all about is just for himself. So this state will go solidly behind Joe Biden for president, as it has in the past. So he wants to spend his time doing these made-up fake rallies and pretending their support here. Be my guest.
And this comes, what, a couple months after she went on the record claiming that black people in the Bronx don't know how to use computers.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word a computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things.
I don't know how much more of this it's going to take for people to really get sick of it. But most importantly, to see it, to finally observe Democrats and their genuine beliefs and behavior. We don't call them pompous, out-of-touch elites for nothing. This is what they do. You know, people have serious concerns, but all they do is dismiss those concerns and attempt to play with your emotions and play politics. You know, speaking of Donald Trump's South Bronx rally, it was a significant event and it represented the wide, diverse tapestry that is New York City and that is America. It was an amazing event. But instead of covering that, instead of talking about that, instead of having an honest conversation of why people might actually be there in such unexpected numbers supporting President Donald Trump in a blue stronghold, no, they work tirelessly to dismiss those people.
Yesterday, Donald Trump held a rally in one of the deepest blue areas of the country, the South Bronx. And depending on how you looked at it, you might have walked away with several different impressions. If you looked at the event like this, for instance, it looked like it was absolutely packed with Trump supporters. But if you zoomed out a little bit, you could see that the crowds actually were not all that big. Now, Trump's campaign claims he drew a crowd of 25,000 people yesterday. The reality is reportedly more like 8,000 to 10,000, which for most people would be a huge turnout. But for a presidential frontrunner in the highest population city in the country, it's pretty low.
This is why we call them pompous elitists. Because of this crap. Actually, it was a very small rally. Totally dismissing all of those people who showed up and pretending as if, you know, even if it was 10,000 people, as if that's insignificant, to be ignored and dismissed. Look at the crowd from overhead. It was actually a very small rally. I don't know, looks pretty sizable to me. Not to mention, you could see a whole lot of people under the canopy in different areas of the park. It looks like a massive event, but they don't want to talk about it. No, they just want to dismiss it. They are continuing with Hillary Clinton's strategy of dismissing Trump voters as deplorable, as crazy people, as people with stupid attitude. I really think this is going to be the major factor, the major catalyst in their political demise. They keep engaging in these horrible behaviors, expecting that they're going to win people over. They simply won't. People want to talk about policy, but all leftists do is play games. It's either a dismissive response, an ad hominem attack, or a distraction. It's either Donald Trump's a racist, Donald Trump's an idiot, or, ooh, look at Stormy Daniels. Ooh, look at Russia, Russia, Russia. Never actual policy. They treat you as if you're stupid and you can be easily emotionally manipulated or distracted. But slowly but surely in this interconnected world, people are starting to wake up, people are having conversations, and once you wake up, there's no going back. See, that's the interesting thing here. That's, I think, something that Democrats really aren't getting. That once somebody sees their true colors, there's no going back for that person. Once somebody sees the true tactics of the elitist left, they are red-pilled, likely for life. That's why people are so staunch in their support of Donald Trump. That's why his support is so consistent. And the more this happens, the more people will leave, they will ditch, and they will never come back. At least that's my perspective. That's my theory. We'll have to see exactly what happens. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.